Good evening, Martians and Manhunters, to another great episode of I'd Rather Be Motivated with myself, Scott O Green, and David Fleming, the duders that bring you I'd Rather Be Drawing. Say hey, David, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? We are the duders that bring I'd Rather Be Drawing. This is I'd Rather Be Motivated, the weekly live art check-in / podcast. We are in full swing with the sort of double casting. We are on Facebook now and we are on YouTube at the same time. Looks like we got a couple people on both sides too. So what's up to everybody? One thing that did happen last week that I just wanted to address before we get things rolling, since we have two chats going now, don't get left behind. We kind of have to take a minute to kind of check both chats and make sure that we're saying what's up to everybody and stuff. So just know that we're not ignoring you guys when we're doing this thing now, but it's really cool to be able to spread ourselves out a little bit thinner and get more audiences here. So what's up, Ronnie, and what's up, Ace?
Glad to have you guys here. So, David, do you want to watch the Facebook one, and I'll try to keep an eye on the YouTube one?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, actually.
All right, we'll do our best here. So how's everything been over the past week, man?
Really good, actually. Yeah, I've been just kind of rounding things off. So, man, I have to do better about this one. I know you wrote it down because we talked about writing stuff down, and then I totally forgot to last week. But I mean, we'll get into that in the chat and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I checked off my boxes and then some. So it feels pretty good.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited to jump into it and what he's referring to. If this is your first time joining us, this is our version of the art check. So we get together at least once a week and talk shop. We talk about our progress, problems, and plans from the week before and going into the next week, help keep each other accountable. So if you're out there wanting to get better at your craft, find someone who's into the same thing or similar and start an art check. I highly recommend it. And so, David, jump into progress. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So do you have it written down what I was supposed to make progress on?
Yes. So on the comic side of things, you wanted to have your team pick done off your plate. On the artist side, you were kind of not sure, but you were at the time working on your Invader Zim, which I do know you got posted. And then for the IRBD, the I'd Rather Be Drawing portion, sending out or getting ready the email blast to send out, let people know they can sign up tonight if you haven't or whatnot. So those were your three-pronged goals for last week.
Well, then this is a first time for everything. I messed one up.
What'd you do, you son of a...
Man, I'm being so bad at this. I didn't send the email blast out. I was supposed to double check. I forgot that. I thought I'd scheduled it.
I was even trying to cover you because I had a feeling you did, and I was trying to say you must have obviously wanted to wait until tonight to give folks a last chance, just real quick, to sign up for the newsletter so they could get our most current information. You didn't forget, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Yeah,
it's ready to go. You just want to wait for this show and then give proper time for people to get a chance to sign up and then send it.
100%. Yeah, I was just thinking of you guys. I was not totally letting it slip my mind for the 10th time. Yeah, it's just I scheduled it and then I guess it didn't send out, and so then I forgot we talked about that last week, and I was supposed to double check on that and make sure that I actually had it sent out because obviously it didn't, and so yeah. But yes, I guess we can add to the other side, the artist side of it, though. I finished my Invader Zim. I did get that posted, and I finished another drawing that I'm posting Wednesday already on those little 5x7s. I've been working a bunch of these little 5x7s up because next month, and I posted about this last week as well, I was invited. This is a really kind of crazy, surreal experience for me. A local comic shop is having their 2nd year anniversary, and they've invited a couple of local sort of comic artist celebrities, out. And I am on the list, but the people on the list next to me are people I've looked up to since I've started the scene. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, Kyle Strom on the list, Colin Bunn on the list, and just a bunch of other names that are oh, dang. 3 years ago when I started this, you were the person that I was almost oh, this guy's the guy that I'll be, so I don't know. It's crazy for me because I'm not trying to say I'm there yet, but it's just crazy to be I got a big message yesterday with hey guys, here's everything that's going to go down for the weekend. And then we're all hey, thanks so much for having us. And right next to me saying, hey, thanks for having us is all their names also being yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
That's really cool, dude. And that's awesome. You're kind of ladder jumping here because just a few episodes back when we talked about our 5-year plan, I remember throwing out there for you. I was like, heck yeah, like getting invited to conventions and everything. Not just we're going to be attending them over the next 5 years, but within 5 years we'll start getting invites to stuff. You're starting now, man. So that's like a month into the 5 year plan. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
it is.
cool.
I wouldn't consider it a full convention invite, but I definitely think I get to check that off the list.
I'd say it's a pretty awesome step in the right direction towards that.
Yeah, no, I know.
If we kind of like in the idea of like you sort of visualize your future so you have something to go towards, this is pretty cool evidence of like, yeah, visualize it and you'll start moving towards it. Just keep it working.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not trying to minimalize it either, but it was just crazy. And I had my little bit of a cheese moment last night. Like, got the text and was just like, okay, so I'm just gonna respond right next to this guy. No big deal. Hey, what's it going, man? We make comics together, huh?
No big deal.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but I'm trying to finish up a bunch of little 5x7s to kind of have on my table for that, because I realized that I sold out almost all of mine the last time I went to a convention, and I didn't realize I'd sold as many as I did, and I only have a few of these left, and they're one of my favorite things, because another cool thing is like young fans or like families that come by. Sometimes I'll just give these out. Like they're a nice piece on the table that like it's a conversation piece, and it's just an awesome thing that like I'm not super sort of feeling real emotionally attracted or attached to, in terms of like, oh man, if I lose that and no one bought it, you know. So I really like having them on the table because of that.
Well, they're kind of like instant quick commissions, but like ready done.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool. And I like the idea.
The term missions, though, there to go in tangent with my comic. So
very cool. Well, speaking of which, so did you, for analog missions that you're referring to, were you able to get your team pick done? Did you already say that?
Yes, I did finish the team pick. That's what I posted today for the Monday post. So yeah, I finished it over the weekend, but it was actually my birthday over the weekend.
Oh, happy birthday, dude! That's awesome. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, man, exhaustingly good time. It was really fun, but like
very cool.
Still recovering, and then had a pretty long day today. And
geez, was it like keg stands and beer crawls or something?
It was old man and long. Just like we went to the zoo and did stuff like that, like as a family and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, man, we're not a family that spends 5 hours at the zoo. We're a family that gets in and gets out. And then it's like just home in time for nap time for the kids and for us. Like,
so you're ready for nap time today?
Yeah, it was pretty rough for us. I mean, it was a blast, but it was just like, oh my gosh, man, this is
well,
not
happy birthday, man.
Day. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
I'm glad you had a good one. And also, Ronnie said, read in the chat, said, great job as far as the invite for the convention. We're pretty excited for you. What a great birthday gift, right?
Yeah. But I'm thinking that pretty much sums most of it up. So I'll pass it over to you, and I'll stop hogging it.
Yeah, so let's see here. For I'd rather be drawing, I wanted to update a couple things on the site, and I wanted to get my Isabel Crane comic posted. I'm actually having trouble finding the correct files for that, because that was kind of when my computer hit the fan. So I know I've got them. I just got to find the right backup disk, and all the other art files I was finding were all like, because, my process is a weird one, like where I scan my pencils and then I scan the inks and then I scan the, so I have like a lot of scans of the stuff, but it's like I can't find the finished ones yet. So I know they're around. I'm not too worried. I mean, heck, if anything, I'd just rescan no, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, I know they're around.
That's not super necessary. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So I know they're around, but I just got to find those. So I do want to get that done, because a hurdle to even get that done was, it was kind of my first time in a while since all the computer stuff, kind of getting reacquainted with helping out with the website. So I got all that stuff taken care of and updated what needed updating. And I was also able to go in and fix on all of my comics. There was it was probably a function that I had chose at some point, or it automatically did, but I'd have like a 2-page comic, and there would be one of like the second page or the first page chosen as like the image for like the article or whatnot. So it would show like the first, like the article picture which was the first page, and then the first page and the second page. So there was like a wonky, like out of order page at the beginning of each of my comics. So I went in and took care of that, and that was cool. And then as you can see here on my Superman Chester, I got the I'd rather be drawing T-shirt done. I'm scooting it the wrong way because it's backwards on the screen, so I keep moving it over. But I figured that out, which was cool. It wasn't an incredibly hard thing, I'm sure, for most people, but I figured out through my Threadless account and ordered one, and that just came in the mail today. Tried it on, and it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. So I'm excited about that. And so that'll get into plans, so I don't want to get into that. But let's see here. My finished fan art for the artist portion. Whoa, going the wrong way. I don't know if you can see that, David, but that's...
oh, yeah. That's a hilarious team up, by the way. I love that.
I love it. Well, this is the way like fan art and stuff like that is going to be fun for me, and be able to kind of be more individualistic than just like my version of everything or whatnot. So yeah, I've got the Bone meets Gorillas, and now we got the Hellboy and Beetlejuice team up. So kind of my crossover fan art things, and I'm doing them all on comic book backing boards, which are cheap, and it feels nice when people get them, I think, and they already have a cheap kind of protective cover that I don't have to go out and buy a sleeve for anything. And along with your like 5x7 idea, I kind of like the idea of smaller artwork for sale at cons, because so many people have like big prints and big artwork and stuff. And I think the market, as far as that, I don't know if it's right to say like it's collapsing, but I think it's moving a little bit away from the prints, because so many people have had so many prints for so long that people like me who go to conventions every year are kind of like all stocked up on wall art. Like I have no space for it. So I think little things like that here and there, and like what you're doing, are things that people can respond to a little bit easier. And then
Yeah, I started.
Ahead.
No, I was just like, I started the small ones because after my first year of conventioning, I had a lot of people say like, man, I want to own prints, or I have tons of wall art, kind of like you said. But like I want stuff at my office or at work on my desk. And so it started as like I sell these guys in like easel back frames, like little 5x7 easel back frames that just sit on the table. And so they are like you said, it's kind of like a nice alternative for the people to be able to put it on the table or whatever, instead of like another print on the wall in your den or wherever you keep that kind of stuff.
For sure. Plus, I kind of like doing the comic backer boards, because it's basically like the size of a comic, so it gives you a little bit of an idea on like cover art. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like making a splash image at once, the size of a cover, leaving a little bit of room for a title or something like that. So I've been enjoying that. And then the other part of that, I thought it would be a pipe dream, but I actually got pretty far at my drawing group tonight, far enough. But I'm working on a girl at work, her commission. It's kind of like my last commission. She wanted her boyfriend dressed as a stormtrooper holding a lightsaber. And I was hoping to kind of have a good start on pencils, which I feel like I have a good start on pencils. So that's been a lot of fun. I just kind of drew it off a picture that she sent me of him, and then just kind of trying to piecemeal in the armor bits at a time and figure that out. It's actually a lot of fun. It's kind of like Lego building, but drawing. And then for the comic, I just wanted to keep writing. I have been. I wish I could say it's all done, but I got some good stuff on the relationship between Bernice and Willie. I know you don't know who that is, and that's okay.
Oh, good on Bernice.
It's like my second story, like the sub-story type of a thing. So it's kind of an interesting thing where like the young people in this, it's not that they know what's going on, but they're important. And then like the elderly folks are important and have like been there, done that. But I think it's gonna be like young folks, some older folks, and then like all like the weirdness in between, and all of like the middle-aged folks got their heads in the sand.
Right.
So just kind of a more fun aesthetic too. So it's been fun kind of trying to figure out what I want that story to be and add to the other one and not take away from it and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so that's me.
Love it, man. So we were both pretty productive, even though I dropped the ball on one or two.
Yeah, you jerk. No, you were just postponing it so we could include more people.
Right.
That's the inclusive nature of I'd rather be drawing.
That again, if you haven't joined the mailing list yet, look at the show notes afterwards and join the mailing list.
Did you hear that? The voice of
that's our
voice
third party
God.
announcer. I have a button here, and I could just push, and he comes on and announces now. Plays a little elevator chime.
I love it. Start introducing people like the guy from Saturday Night Live.
I'm having a lot of fun. I finally hooked up a new mic that I'm trying out tonight, guys, too. I got a new mic and a new HD cam for the drawing as well. So hopefully you guys have noticed sort of the upgrade on my end, voice and video. I'm not having the weird focusing problems I've been having this whole month. Look at my hand not blurring. Whoa.
Still making me nauseous, though, too. Oh, now I'm watching the instant replay on the phone. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I don't even know if they notice how great you look and sound, or if they're just like, Scott looks and sounds like crap tonight.
Right. It's the opposite. I don't sound better. They're just realizing how bad you sound.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's how I help. I'm just here as a reference point. Comic Den. Oh, hey, what's up, Abe? Thanks for joining with us. Thank you, Red. He says, great work, Scott. I appreciate that, brother. Then Ace says, oh, the drama of writing. You know it. And Abe says, hey, and what mic did you go with? Ace was wondering.
The Yeti. It's that one that you bought. It's a temporary upgrade. I'm borrowing it from a friend of mine who had one that I wanted to try out and kind of make sure that I liked it before I spent the money on it. But also, I received White Knight from you, and he is also the topic of what I am drawing today, by the way, Ace. So double props to Ace in the chat for the mic, the drawing, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the mailing list.
Weird. I don't like that. Yeah, so the real star of the show tonight, Comic Den. Come on down. What, he's not here? Oh, what a jerk. I had an award ready for him and everything.
Yeah, burn it.
Burn it. Screw that guy. Anyway, so what problems did you run into this week?
Well, obviously, I ran into the problem of needing some kind of thing to remind me that we have a mailing list.
Sorry, I guess it's my fault now. Shit.
I don't know. It's one of these things where it's like every month we mean to just get on that. Now it's like we're telling people to join it, right? We're also telling people how often we do not use it. But it's just for some reason, it's so easy to be the thing that I push aside for the sake of the other stuff that I know I have to get done. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll check that in the morning. And then when the morning comes around, I'm in a completely different zone or mood. And then I never get myself back around to it.
For sure, but I think like you're kind of getting back into the groove now that school's in. I'm working on organization. I got my notebook just for our show here, really got my stuff cleaned up. It's been a weird thing here lately where I was beginning to feel like I was just kind of, I don't know what it's called, but when you want to sit down and work on your comic, but all of a sudden you realize you need to reorganize your pencils and you need to organize your art stuff and you need to do all this other stuff. But it's like sometimes like I actually really need to do all of that other stuff so I can start ahead finally. And I was kind of getting down on myself about that, but you kind of need to get everything in order and get everything organized. Long story short, I think it'll be cool to get on a schedule with this, which I foresee us getting better about. With me being able to help more now that computer's up and running and all of this good stuff. And we've got the show figured out again, so T-shirts are printing. Things are looking good.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All
excuses out the window. All routines have been formed. It's definitely going to become more of a regular thing here. I mean, like we even made the mailing list, though, which is like to kind of like back that up as a thing that we would wanted to use when we had important announcements to make and not just to spam people constantly with. So like, I think that's another reason why I'm okay with it. And sometimes do just push it back because I tell myself that. I'm like, I mean, like we're not trying to just attack you guys with emails or anything.
And now we are having things to say more often. Before it was like, we're kind of in between, or you already told everybody about that. So now we're actually having stuff happening each month. So it's pretty cool. Thank you very much, Abe. Abe Sapien in the chat signed up. Click the link and signed up for the newsletter. Super appreciate it.
All righty.
See, your plan worked, David. Along with that kind of being more regular on stuff, I like how you approach regular posting. I know this is a little bit of a sidebar, but regular posting, you post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And whether you're in the middle of something or post about, you know, the new mic you got or this or that, or just at what step of the process, I like that you always kind of, that you keep that schedule. So in an effort for myself to do that, even when I feel like when I'm scripting my comics, so I don't feel like I have something real great to show for that or whatnot, I did episode 1 of Read More Comics and put that on Wednesday. And this Wednesday, there'll be another episode. And I'm really going to push myself to like just keep a regular, every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. So every Wednesday, I'm going to have a new episode out. Just a few more comics that I'm reading, come across my table, and just kind of try to share that. So, just wanted to say that was a fun thing that I finally got that first one up. I don't know if you got a chance to see it yet or not, but as far as regularness and organizing, that's kind of one of my attempts to kind of get to a schedule. So
I actually, I have to admit that I haven't yet, but I have it queued up literally for tomorrow morning. You and Ace, more shout outs to him in the chat, right? Because we should chat. He went live for the first time last night, I think he said, and I have his thing queued up in my playlist as well to do it for my tomorrow morning draw. So I will be drawing to your guys' voices tomorrow morning when I do my thing.
Sounds pretty good.
Not if it sounds like that.
You out-talked me. You jerk. All right. So, where were we at? Okay.
That's problems, right?
Yeah. So problems for me, I kind of talked about my problems, kind of getting down on myself for not being more productive because I was taking care of other life stuff, but there are things that needed to be done. Once again, wish I was further ahead on the scripting stuff and having that where I want it. I was really hoping to, be debuting this stuff a bit closer to like fall time and everything, but I just have to be kind of okay with the process for now. But shall we jump on to plans?
That's it for problems?
Yeah, man, I really haven't, I don't know, work, time, just normal.
All the things you complain about every week.
Yeah, it's just life and it just happens. And I'm honestly trying to force myself into some organization. So even through the chaos of that stuff, I can still be productive and do all of the different things. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin with like a lot of different projects, but they're all things, I think I've said this before, that like I really need to be pushing forward.
Right.
So if I need to just, I need to keep them all in the air. It just needs to happen. And I enjoy all the different things, and I'm not ready to like just focus on one thing. So, just going to quit the job, see what happens. Maybe not yet.
I was like, wait, were you just dropping something there? Like,
yeah, no, I'm not ready for that. That's the only thing I can think to like spend the time I need to spend, but got to make money, man.
I see what you're saying. Like, you need to get in these habits, and these need to be sure things here so you can lead up to that.
Yeah. For realsies. All right, so jumping into goals.
Let's do it.
All right. Which aspect first? For your comic? Where do you want to be on your comic by next week?
I want to pencil out a whole nother page.
Cool.
So I have the roughs done at page 2 and 3. I want to get back into page 2 and clean them up and have it actually ready to be inked. I have page 1 ready to be inked completely, like it's in the folder waiting for October, and I want to spend pretty much all of September just cranking out pencils and pages. So honestly, I want to do 2, but I'm just going to be realistic and say at least 1 a week leading up to it. And if I get a second one done every week, then it's just a bonus.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, but that's. Oh, and I guess I got to send out a newsletter or something too.
Okay. That one again. All right, just bring it down from the list. No, I'm just kidding. You've been hustling with this stuff. We'll let it slide. So newsletter for IRB, for I'd rather be drawing.
Yes.
How about for the artist side?
I mean, artist side's a double. I want
Well,
to
like this right here. Like, how many of these are you wanting to do? I guess for your show.
this. So I have a Skeksis pencil waiting to be inked as well, in honor of the fact that if you're trying to catch me on Friday, you won't, because I will be binging the entire series of the Dark Crystal.
Awesome. I've seen a couple posts from you about that. That's hilarious.
I like.
You're just like, peace out, suckers. When this starts, I'm over.
This is funny because I don't really get excited like this about certain things, but like I can't even describe how much of my childhood was just like watching Labyrinth and Dark Crystal and other weird, just like Frank Oz and Jim Henson are like most definitely part of why I create the worlds that I create, because as a kid I watched so much just weird of their puppetry and stuff. And I think there's this really cool thing about them that like we talk about this sometimes. We talk about indie comics, and like the reason why we do indie comics, and I'm not looking for a publisher right now or any of that kind of stuff, is because like you do indie comics to make something new and different. Like if I wanted to make superheroes, I would be doing superheroes, and I'd probably be trying to make a book, or like I'd be on that route. I'm not on that route for a reason. Like I'm making an indie comic because I want to make something that lives only where I created it, and that's how I feel about everything they made. Like this like thing with puppets and all the stuff that they did and how they created it, like no one has ever recreated it or wanted to even recreate it, because that's just been their thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's something called the Henson stitch that I just learned about, that like a certain kind of stitching pattern so that you don't see the seam. Like there's like a stitch, I guess, that goes up the middle of Kermit's head that you don't see. And then like the Muppet cloth or whatever it's called that they're like made out of is like another invented, named after like, that stuff. I mean, it's an interesting impact they've made on the world for sure, in direct ways, than even those other indirect ways. And when we talk about what's been influencing us, I'll share with you a podcast that you'll probably dig that is related to that. But
yeah, I'm a sucker for that. Like just like you don't have to completely reinvent the wheel, but like you do something so different that you forget it's a wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love.
Very cool, man. So that was down a rabbit hole. Let me know that you've got a Skeksis that you're going to have done. This Batman and like one or two more of these guys.
I finished. Yeah, I did. I'm trying to think. I did Zim. I did a Cuphead. I did Skeksis. I got this Batman. I'll probably do like two more here and there. I'll probably do some other kind of more generic, because I like to do like my weirder ones since they are so quick, but I will try to make a couple of generic ones, because like I said, it's a fun thing to be able to give out sometimes too. And so it being like a Batman is something that I can be like, yeah, you know what, like, because kids will see it and be like, oh, it's so cool. Oh, I don't, Dad, I don't have that. And I'm like, like that kind of thing. I'm a sucker for that.
For sure.
Like just letting kids have art that I know.
Those moments are huge for kids. Things they don't forget, man. And yeah, very cool. You should also do like one or two of your characters. That way when someone's like, these are awesome, but like, do you have one that's like one of yours? And you're like, as a matter of fact, I do.
I am going to do a couple of my characters, but I'm going to do them bigger. I'm going to do a couple of those. That'll be in the week leading up to it.
You should do, I don't know if that'd be weird or just kind of cool or funny or what, but I was going to say a couple of those other guys' characters.
Oh, yeah. Like a spread or something like that.
Yeah. Might be kind of a fun thing, or they'd be like, geez, jerk, that's my thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That is a bit of a tricky thing. Like,
I bet they would just think it was cool.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't sell it though.
Sure. That makes sense. Be like, I just made $20 off your character, dude.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man. You guys are great at this.
All right, here's $3. There's your cut.
10%, right?
All right, let's see here. As far as what I want to have done, I haven't thought about this. I should have while you were talking.
I was going to say I only talked for like 3 hours there. Also, so let me just interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Jay in the chat has just spoiled my big announcement. The main character of the next book will be a cucumber.
Okay.
She said, as David announced his cucumber character, I came for the reveal.
I'm questionable about the story change, but
When we
I
left
trust
work,
you.
have you ever eaten a cucumber like an apple?
No.
Let's just say we were leaving work today and we were both curious, and me and Rao both took a bite of a cucumber like it was an apple, but then the bite marks looked like a face on both of our cucumbers. Link in the bio, pictures of the cucumber.
Do I have to put that in?
No, I'm just kidding.
Are we going to put that in the show notes?
Yeah. Check the show notes, guys.
Goober. See, once again, I shouldn't have listened to that. It was all nonsense anyway.
I'm
Gosh.
just giving you more time to think.
Okay, so for the website, I would like to find my Isabel Crane comic, Fine IC, and post, hopefully, if it doesn't take me too long to find it. Because I would like to be able to say, hey, everybody, go to the website, new content. For artist, I want to have this one done. I'm going to put some time into it, try to make some lightsaber battle stuff look cool in the background. And I only kind of started the pencils today, so I want to make it look good. So I need to get that commission done, because she's the one who made the first T-shirt for us, kind of the prototype.
Okay, so this is like a thank you commission.
Yeah. What was like, she told me how much, and then I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like enough. Why don't I draw you something? And then she came at me with like a bit tougher of a thing. and was like, just draw the thing and we'll call it even. I was like, what? Okay. So then the other for artist, I need to get back. I had made a list, but with some other stuff going on, I haven't gone back to really start chopping it out. But I need to figure out like what conventions I'm going to do this year, what I can still sign up for, even if it's just like planning Planet Comic Con a little bit more and figuring out that timing. But I want to get, I want to get signed up for a couple conventions, and I've been working on getting that ready for a while now, and I want to do it. And then comic, I'm going to keep writing. Oh, I thought something else I could do to kind of like do something physical for it. On Cartoonist Kayfabe, I know I mention every time, he has an episode where he talks about how because he very much he does everything traditionally, but certain things are digital. And there was a thing he did, and it's really hard for me to explain. I'm gonna have to like look up again so that I can do it. But he like made a template for himself of the panels he would use. So me knowing that my book's gonna be a square format, I know all of like the basic panel shapes for that. As a standard, if it's going to be one big one for the page, 4 smaller ones, 8 of them, or however it's going to be set up. And he basically has all of those on one piece of paper. I think he like made it and then scanned it in, and then like uses that for every, like when he sets it up, and then he'll just like use the square making tool or whatever, rectangle tool.
Yeah.
And just kind of very quickly be able to like put up what he's going to use. Okay, I know this is a 3-panel page. Bam, bam, bam. Does that make sense at all from what I'm describing?
It does to me. I don't know about them.
Yeah, I know. You make it sound like there are a bunch of idiots out there. Jeez, David. You're like, no, man, I know because you're an idiot and I speak to you, and yeah, you know how to decipher Scott.
Speak your fluent idiot.
Right, speak your fluent idiot. So my panel template. I'd like to have a physical thing to show for that, and that might kind of help the whole process too, and just kind of light a fire a little bit more. So I'm gonna try to get that done. Yeah,
sweet.
That's me. I got it written down. It's locked in. If at any point throughout the week you want to be like, hey, Scott, what were those things? Or if you're like, yeah, just partway through the week, send me a picture of our goals. I can start doing that too.
It's not a bad idea.
Because like I said, I'm really trying to kind of get organized with all the, like I have a notebook for like as I'm learning tech stuff to like write down. It's like I said before, like it was always just make sure you have paper with you. And I would just write everything in everything. And then it's everywhere. So working on it. So what's been influencing you lately?
What has been influencing me lately? Okay, so back to my anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like I'm just really on a kick right now, man. I always do this. I always go in and out of like caring and then being like whatever, and then being like, oh well, I missed out on some cool stuff, and then finding way too much. There's one on Netflix right now called Cannon Busters.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan of Cowboy Bebop and of an old one called Trigun. That was like a classic one that got me into anime in the first place. And it feels like this person has perfectly captured the two into one story. It's real funky, jazzy, and also like cowboy west kind of stuff at the same time. It's real fun. It's definitely my current thing that I'm kind of binging between drawing or while I draw. It's another example of like that fun, like you can almost, I don't know how this was made. I don't even know if this is real, but it's like you can almost tell that this one was definitely made by like someone, by like a fan who just somehow got this down the pipeline or something like that. Like you just get that vibe watching this one, that like this thing was definitely made very much on like a smaller scale, but then somehow found a way to find its way on Netflix.
That's pretty rad. So like you're still like seeing like a vision carried out, not just like
definitely
a committee of people who all put it together.
Maybe I'm just completely BSing it all, but it feels that way for sure.
That's cool. Well, that's the important part, whether it was or not.
Right.
So with all of the anime that you've been into, I know that you've read manga and everything. Have you ever read Akira?
Yes, a very long time ago, though. And now that you keep talking about it, I really do need to pick it back up again.
Yeah, you probably do. You should check out my episode of Read More Comics, episode 1. I talk about Akira, Your Book, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of the old ones. It's like a Leonardo spinoff. And I think the 3 of your books are a nice little package altogether.
You really could not have like plugged that better.
I did my best.
Oh, so have you been reading Akira lately? Oh, right.
I highly suggest it. Well, for a person like yourself who's into anime and has been for a while, or a person like me who is new to manga, I think it's an equally great read. And I delve into that a bit more on my show, Read More Comics.
I feel like you were trying to do the NPR voice there. Read More Comics by Scott O Green.
Cool. Thanks for that. Weirdos.
But like, so, and then on the other end of that one, can I put this in my plans? Can I plan to be influenced by something next week?
Yeah.
I'm drawing the White Knight Batman here because, like I was just kind of talking about, Ace let me borrow that one and wants me to get into that, probably because he wants to get me on a show again and talk about it. We still need to do our reissue for Southern Bastards, but which, by the way, anyone who has not read that series, Scott, can I get an amen, Scott?
Amen. Hallelujah.
Southern Bastards is great. I never thought that a comic that revolved so much around football would be anything that I'd care about, because it does and it doesn't, and it just does a really good job of getting you in.
Yep, it's good stuff. And when you think it's about one thing, it changes and it's about another thing.
Right.
It's great. And Jason Latour is saying, he's like, no one believes me, but we'll be going back to Southern Bastards soon. So I think it's been on hiatus with all the different fun, crazy Marvel stuff been going on. But he said they're coming back to it sooner rather than later. So I got something pretty special now, and it gives me time to catch up too. But yes, White Knight, you can plan on your influence, and I strongly encourage that one. I loved that story. And like I said last week, I believe it feels like the most current and newest, like Frank Miller Batman type influence on the Batman universe, like those standalone stories that end up having more of an impact than the continuity stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Especially because they're like moving ahead with doing like more in this storyline, which is awesome.
Is the Curse of the White Knight, is that like a part of the same storyline? I keep seeing really rad art for that.
Yeah, it's like it's like back on the shelves with like some new issues of it's yes, what you're saying.
Cool, because I literally like looking up the art for this one. I saw and I've been seeing posts of it and stuff, and I'm like, whatever this is, I don't care. It looks rad.
Yeah, go to your local comic shop, order it through them. They're super cool people, and they'll be happy to do it. They'll tell you about it. I'm telling you, David, but everybody else too. Sure, you can order a book on Amazon, I guess, but do that with your regular books. Order your comics through the comic shop. They're awesome. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about with your influence this week?
I'm trying to think. I definitely have been. Because I've been, since I'm about to get back in the comic zone, I have definitely been stretching my feelers out way more because I do that, just screenshotting all over the place and just kind of like pulling stuff to draw from.
Mm-hmm.
I always like, I don't want the style or the thing to change, obviously, because I want some clean continuity between the two issues. But like, I definitely want you to know that this was something I love about watching through the indie stuff too, and like watching a artist on their journey is like seeing the growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the zone I'm in right now, or have been in, is like the growth zone. And so I'm just gonna try to push this last week to like really just pull in as much influence as I can. And another reason, like I talk about this all the time too, but like the reason why I love, because I get on my kick of like, watch some gnarly action and watch some of this and then watch some anime, and I just try to get all over the place with it so that I get as many influences from my writing as I can, and it doesn't feel like it's all come from the same place. Like, there's definitely something to be said, if you are not a fan of it, that like that sort of Eastern culture and storytelling definitely has different tropes. Like, there are things that I assume from watching when I watch like an anime, and things I assume when I'm watching like a Western show or whatever, that like don't go hand in hand, because they're like definitely tropes of a culture. And I like to try to mix those two things together when I'm doing my writing as well.
Best way to make it interesting, right?
Exactly. There's just like, there's certain comics you read where you're like, or like shows especially, and you're like, oh, know exactly where this one's going. Like, we're on a classic hero's journey, which isn't like terrible, right? But then like you need that one thing that makes that feel different, where you're like, oh, whoa.
That's my favorite part of my day, is when I have inevitably will stop and go, whoa, whoa.
I do it daily.
I know, I remember.
I'm in the middle of teaching, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa. You're right, Fleming? Yeah. So I just realized something.
I just had epiphany. Bolt of lightning struck my brain. Sorry. I don't even know what that's from. I derailed. So, any other good stuff you're throwing in the mix for this? So, like, as you're reading White Knight and you're kind of bringing in what you can, but keeping your own style, I think something that Sean Gordon Murphy excels at and is evident in that is how do you say it? His drawings are very kinetic. You know, from pencils to inks, he's not losing any of the excitement or the raw, but things are still not like noodly doodly. They're like still really well done and crisp and everything, but he's got a really great way of keeping things exciting. And yeah, kinetic, I think, is a good way to.
I 100% agree. It's why Kim and Matteo Scalera are two of my favorite inkers, which is because they have a style so different from mine, but they are the opposite of noodly doodlers. They can say so much with just like a black thick stroke, and that's just like, oh, I hate you because I want that. But like, their shapes and stuff I take a lot of influence from, but I'm such a doodler. I tried to fight it when I first started doing stuff, but it's just so hard to.
Well, you're finished. I mean, it's all about the finished thing, right? And yours doesn't feel noodly doodly at all towards the end or anything. Maybe to get there, and
that's good.
That might be everybody. It feels like a crisp, well put together thing, which I talk about in episode 1 of Read More Comics. It's just happening now. I'm not even
this episode.
I'm not even really trying. It's just happening.
I wanted to take a second. It looks like we did have a few people come in and out. I don't know if anyone's still over there on the Facebook side. Remember that we are multicasting to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So it looks like TJ Sonjak. I almost just destroyed his name. What's up, Negro? Oh my gosh, that is what he said, and I said it out loud, and I realized literally spelled me. And I was like, thinking.
I heard that, and I was like, wow, that is not something I hear Fleming say.
Like me, and I was like, wait, what is he saying? And then I said it out loud. I was like, oh dang, that happened.
Oh, that was hilarious. I didn't realize what I was going to say until I said it. Oh, I hope whoever that is laughing there.
Oh, yeah, I hope so too. I hope
right now.
That one. Yeah, but I just lost your coffee.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh man, that was a good one.
Oh man, that's cool and super. I also got as well. Those are much more tame chat.
Yeah, why don't you proofread your chat, and I'm going to talk about my influences here real quick.
They said this took a turn.
That was hilarious. I don't think you could like anybody hearing that. Like, I don't think it gets more honest than that. Like, I don't think you could have faked that. That was some hilarious, like a hilarious radio thing to just hear. Anyway, so stuff you should know. That's the name of the podcast. Have you ever listened to it?
No, I have not.
Everybody should listen to this because it's a great. I mean, it says it in the title, stuff you should know, and they're really just like scratching the surface on all kinds of different stuff, from how stuff in government works, like the government bailout from some years ago, to what happens when lakes explode. That was like this whole recent one I just listened to about like this lake in the tropics in Cameroon, and happens at different ones, but this one time, a particular one, an explosion happened that sent like a column of water into the air, and then a huge just kind of a cloud of death that was like a couple 100 feet high or something, just like moved throughout and left like 1,700 people dead and a whole bunch of livestock. And so like whether you're listening, just kind of learning and getting cool, interesting factual stuff, because they explain why that whole thing happened, which was super cool. But it's like you're getting inspiration for like writing comics as well as just like good knowledge. And the two hosts, Chuck and Josh, they're hilarious. Like I love the sound of their voices, and they're not like out to be hilarious. They're just like two regular guys, but they're just chatting about this stuff, and they just crack me up all the time. And they have almost like a Laurel and Hardy kind of old time comic duo thing going on, like in the sound of their voices. But it's cool, interesting stuff. And it came up earlier when you were talking about Skeksis and Dark Crystal and all that stuff, because they had an episode on Muppets.
Oh,
Which was super interesting, talking about the time and place that Jim Henson got started. And before Muppets, he was getting the puppet thing going as an adult thing. And talking about, I forget which movie, but you know the Rainbow song that he sings at one of the beginning of the movies, Kermit?
the Rainbow Song.
Yeah, is that it's the Rainbow song?
The Rainbow Connection? Are you serious?
Yeah. Sorry, jerk. Gosh, ease up. Anyway, so remember that scene where like the camera like pans around him as he's like playing and singing the song, and they're showing you like no people and no wires and no stuff like that. He was like down underneath, like in the water or something like that, doing it so that they could, I don't know. It's pretty amazing stuff, and I think you'll like it. So
Yeah, I definitely will.
That's been a big one. And for anybody who just likes having stuff on while you're driving or drawing or whatever, mowing the lawn, stuff you should know. And I think it's been going on for like 10 years or more, I think. So they have a whole bunch of episodes, and they're great. So I recommend that. And then I think I talked about it a little bit last week, but did you know Jason Latour has started I don't know if I posted that or not, but Jason Latour has a YouTube chat cartoonist show going on now too.
You did mention it. It was like near the end, because I do remember being like, I need to pick his brain more about that, and then kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, it's called The Drawl. DRIWL. He is a Southern bastard, so that's why. But it's super cool. It's his version of cartoonists at conventions having conversations or whatever. But it's awesome, and I love Jason Latour. I love his art style, and yeah. So those are the things that have been kind of influencing me, and then I've been taking in as I've been making stuff. That's it for me, though. Nothing else.
That's it. Absolutely nothing new is going on in your life.
No, nothing new. No, I'm always reading comics and stuff. I just picked this one up today. Check this out. I'm hoping to get it on the show soon, but I need to read it first so I can talk about it. It's called Grotesque.
I love that cover.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that nose on that cover like totally reminds me of like weird old Monty Python illustration or something.
Yeah, like it reminded me of a lot of stuff, and I think for good reason. I'm about to learn some things because this is an Ignatz collection, and I've heard that before. You know what I mean? And it's through Fantagraphics, so that's got to be awesome. And this was at my comic shop, the Comics Place here in Bellingham. I can't wait to take you sometime, David. It's a great shop, but this kind of black, white, and orange color. I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to take a look at that for some October influence.
Yes.
And this is where like I picked it up because it just looked interesting. I immediately was like, yep, this is the one I'm getting. And then afterwards I started seeing images like this guy that I'm showing you, like with those big feet. And it's reminiscent, or it is the same artist. I don't know, but of some of that. I'm not that well versed in it, but the San Francisco scene, Crumb, stuff like that, influenced at least. But I don't know. It looks great.
I'm sorry. You.
What?
It's just the chat is like we've gone on with the show and we've been like talking, and all I see is everyone in the chat making comments about.
Yeah, someone, I will never forget this. This took a turn. I don't know. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I worked damn hard to move on and be professional.
You did. Over on the chat too, the guy he said, got him.
That's hilarious. Yeah, there's no topping that one, man.
That
really was pretty
isn't.
good. But yeah, art check complete. And stuck our feet in our mouths. Yeah, we did it.
Hey man, I'd say it's pretty good though. 44 episodes before I regretted something that happened.
Oh, I don't regret it all. That was hilarious.
That's true. Yeah. No regrets.
That was so hilariously unintended and like, it was. I just said that.
I'm like, I'm a little bit like I would totally do that to somebody else, and I'm like, man, he did get me.
Yeah, and how?
Right? Well, that's like have you ever seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force before?
Yeah.
The I Am Sofa King.
We taught it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to grade school and high school too.
Right.
We had the Pen 15 Club too.
Oh, it still works. You know that, right?
Yeah. You're not like doing that to your students though, right?
I can neither confirm nor deny this statement.
And on that note, everybody, we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Oh man, I feel like we got to get out of here so we can start working on our comics.
That's a good point.
Hey, David, we kind of skipped at the beginning when we're not here on two things at once, on Facebook or YouTube. Where can we find you?
You can find me at Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram. That is the #1 place to check out the action, all the good stuff. Like you said, I have the post schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday on there, and I do not miss a beat. Sometimes I miss a beat on Facebook or other places, but I do make sure I'm always posting constantly on Instagram because that's kind of where I'm the most like back and forth with my fans and all that kind of stuff.
All right. So we're always posting on Instagram, David and I. Mine is Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. We're sending out that newsletter this week. So if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, the link is down below. As you see, we don't spam you with stuff all the time, just let you know what's going on. And we do have some exciting stuff with books coming out. Werewolves and Unicorns, y'all just got an update on that one. So we'll be getting our books sooner rather than later. Very excited about that. Next week, I don't think I wrote this on the goals, but I am looking now that I was able to I got this t-shirt in the mail today to kind of proofread and make sure it looks okay and everything. But by next week, I hope to be sharing that link with you all. So if you'd like to get your I'd Rather Be Drawing t-shirt to help support the show, or just let the world out there know that you're not interested in what they have going on, that you'd rather be drawing.
That's a really good motto. I kind of love that. Let the world know that you're not interested in what they have going on.
Yeah, on the back of the shirt, you can't see it now. It says "F the world." I'd rather.
I'm sorry. Were you talking? I completely forgot because I'd rather be drawing.
Yeah. I'm so. I was gonna say the thing, but I can't say it anyway. So yeah, we got that going. So keep your eyes out and. Yeah, I'm sorry. Half reading stuff over here, Ace. Yeah. I can't read anything that you're saying anymore. Okay.
I'm adding to my plans for next week to be less racist.
Good job. Maybe at least just proofread what other people are making you say. Speaking of Muppets, people are making David talk. This is hilarious. They're going to come out of the woodwork next episode.
Right.
Anyway, thank you all for stopping by. We really appreciate it. We do hope you come again, but we'll see.
Peace.
We won't hold our breath. Bye, everybody. See you next week, Wednesday, episode 2 of Read More Comics. I got nothing else.